Before I get properly started, I want to thank Miles per Hour, who allowed me to use their stream footage. They stream often and do videos on mods like Alphas, GT, and so on. If you're interested in simple gameplay PC mods, they might be a good source. Might be fun to watch if you're into tech/no commentary videos. Now, onto vid. Oh boy, PvZ3 is a trouble game. PvZ3 has been in development for years. It's also had to be remade several times in said years due to trouble reception. But this appears to be the final time, to me at least, they really need to. The game has evolved, for the better mostly, and I think now's a good time to voice proper thoughts. I've been the entirety of PvZ3's beta, and think top as important. PvZ3 is the weakest of the series. PvZ3 is not a great game. PvZ3 is fine. This is the central point here. PvZ3 isn't terrible. It isn't great. It is, for all intents and purposes, fine. But why is this the case? Why can't I call it fine when so many people cite it as a second coming of the devil? It's complicated. And I feel like there's stuff I should try to get set clear. So without further ado, let's get into PvZ3 and what it even is. PvZ3's beta is currently region locked, though you can still use APKs to access it. It only lasts like 2 hours or so total, despite having 50 levels, and is clearly meant to be a form of gain feedback over anything else. However, I'm going to assume this somewhat reflects the state of the final game. As always, I'll have like nothing to talk about, so like, I kinda have to, don't I? Firstly, the game is split in two, so I'm going to start with the lesser part, the visual novel half! No, I am serious. From beating levels, you receive taco tickets, which I will call tickets, and you can spend these to talk with characters. You're always limited in this regard, only having up to 3 options, and often only really having one. It's a main form of progression, as levels don't feel like you're making any progress alone. Each level results in 1 ticket, for context, and a lot of these can take several. The dialogue itself is very kiddie in general, and that's being nice about it. It doesn't have much depth, feels very generic, and doesn't really stand out much. None of the characters feel unique enough to care about, which makes most jokes fall flat to me personally. But it also doesn't really work for me, as you just read what they do, and it's something we're not really showing what they're doing if that makes any sense. PvZ also had this issue, but the dialogue was before and after levels directly, in the same lawn and so forth, which isn't the case here. These are actually set places outside of it in the area before you choose to go into a level. There's also just tend to be loose to collect what you're doing. There's a few times where the game will just say you're in a certain area you're not in, for instance. But that's besides the main point, really. I should probably talk about the characters first. Penny was lost in the crossfire. RIP. Though Crazy Dave returns, because Dave. Otherwise, there are 3 new characters I'll talk about in order. Patris, Mo, and Douglas. Patris is actually a character from PvZ Comics. That's about as interesting as this character here gets. But it's an interesting concept, and I think for some people who have nostalgia for the comics, it's a nice character to bring back. Shame they don't do much. They come off to me as a generic, enthusiastic scout character without much beyond that. Fortunately, they seem to be the quote-unquote main character, which sorta sucks. They really add much and just fall flat often. I don't like them much. Mo's the best waifu. Otherwise, they're the generic robotic companion, and the only character I really enjoy in any capacity. Though they tend very similarly to how Penny is generally run, so I have to wonder if that has any say. By the way, they are the only character of jokes I sort of like, even though and I don't love their presence. They're simply just the best of a bad lot. Speaking of which, Douglas. I don't know who the hell Douglas is, nor do I care. I'm not well versed in characters to describe accurately who he is, but I just do not like him in any way. Although he likes nachos and speaks squirrel, I do not know why. Anyways, the game mostly focuses on Patris and Mo. Patris saving Crazy Dave from eating a zombie taco. Cannibalism in a PvZ game! Oh, how the times have changed. Otherwise, they hunt down Walnut. And found Crazy Dave being stolen. Nothing much, just sort of existing in the character game one, I guess. Force feeling progression is a force feeling progression. I can only really see it that way. As a final note, this is very similar to other mobile games in progression, apparently. I've seen Lily's Gone and Homescape compared to this. Having played neither, I can't confirm, but from what I've seen, it does seem fundamentally similar. I haven't judged the system of this. I do think the system has some merit for a PvZ game, but it's just not quite yet there. Maybe in a few years I can make this worth more, but right now it just exists and doesn't add to the experience. It doesn't help as well that it is the sole source of any progression in the game, so otherwise it just doesn't help a lot. Maybe if, like for instance, Plantoon Lock will link to it might be interesting, but alas, that's not the case. This is a built-on version of PV3's second beta, which means a few important things. Sunflowers are here, yay. Every level is locked and loaded, wave speed is automatic, and levels go by stupidly quickly. Let me explain some of this stuff. Every level in PvZ3 is a locked-in set of plants. You have no choice over what you use, which is likely done to limit the max potential a player can have, and allow poor balancing to be neutralized, thus increasing the amount of possible plants. Not a terrible set of ideas, admittedly, but does result in an experience a lot of people don't seem to like, so I have to question how much this really matters in the long run. And ironically, this might be the main reason PvZ3 never kicks off, I'll be entirely honest. Otherwise, the main wave zombies are wave-based, with the next wave spawning when enough damage is dealt with zombies from the last wave. Here, they just spawn automatically, which makes the max skill of the game lower. I imagine this is to make the player more willing to spend power-ups, as this is the main monetization strategy here. Speaking of which, the monetization strategy is, most likely, power-up based. The game gives 2 powers at the start of each level, with 3 more usable in the level itself. These are Extra Starting Sun, which gives you a small boost to a sun, a Rake, which is the PvZ1 rake and kill 1 random zombie, and 3 instas in game. These being a colon frost jalapeno called Chili Pepper, freezing things instead of killing them, and jalapeno / cherry from older games. They are gone through playing the game and being sent levels, but there is a clear limit about paying, which bothers me, unless that gets changed, which it could well be. Finally, the speed. There are a lot of levels which literally have 1 set of zombies and done. It is not rare, and levels can be beaten obscenely quickly, no level really taking more than 3 minutes, the average speedrun time for a level in PvZ1. It is ludicrous. It does impact a lot of the game feel. It should not surprise you that in the current debate you beat all levels casually, and real dialogue, in less than 2 hours. And there are still 50 levels. Unfortunately, most of these levels aren't very good. Here's a level, on screen. There are many levels like this. This is one of the same as levels which are an actual level, and as a result, most levels end up being like this. Super short with just no substance, and especially the case early on. Later levels improve somewhat, few levels really do anything truly unique. Just shove a mechanic or use the water where the mechanic makes any sense. The volcanic area, for instance, when ambush introduced. This blocks off random tiles briefly. The issue is this just isn't very interesting, nor really should be. It's a simple ambush with nothing too interesting to say for itself, and it being relevant would be incredibly annoying. So instead just acts as a minor threat to the early game at some levels. This mechanic does not lend itself to interesting levels much, due to the random nature, and can result in frustrations. We've seen mechanics somewhat similar, at least fundamentally, shown once before, and they tend to become hated, most of them being a clean shakeboard. Otherwise, some interesting levels do exist. Mostly in the form of 49, like no other level stood out to me, nor do I remember any other level, but still for the sake of being nice it's covered. 49 is unique in that it uses a mechanic to benefit the player, as these water paths which are away from those players offering lily pads. This is key to help deal with bucketheads that spawn in the water lanes, that and the silver swords, posing a fairly unique challenge, though admittedly one has been done plenty of times before. And it's been seen plenty of times before, as most of the zombies and plants are also not anything new. See the plants here that are new. There are also some of the least inspired in the series. The pair of them offer literally nothing new, and the zombies aren't exactly much better. The new plants are bamboo shoots and silver sword. Former is basically just a slower firing pea shooter. It doesn't offer any changes to the way you use it. Able to effectively kill basics in a few hits without wasting too much damage, without any truly unique gimmick, while Silver Sword is literally the 4th time until the has returned. They literally have a Gloom Tube model, why am I making it again? Anyways, the zombies are better. Kinda. The 3 new zombies here are Dougie Tube, yes I am counting him, Bowling Zombie, and Imp Man. I do not know Imp Man's name, and will be referred as such from now on. Yeah, Dougie Tube is the first and is also the worst of the 3. It's quite literally a basic, it moves a little faster in land and faster in water. I do not know why he exists, nor do I care about his existence. He's about as plain as a zombie can get, and has very little practical application. Imp Man moves faster when rolling down a slope and slower when rolling up, who is only barely better because he can hit the barrel of the imp and that's it. And Bowling Zombie just throws bowling balls that do damage, which is the only relevant unique zombie in the game so far, and it's about the bare basic in terms of zombie design. Pretty much everybody has thought of a zombie that just fires projectile that deals damage, haven't they? But since they don't have hope, however, there is a new zombie shown in the trailer, Landscaper, who does actually do something more unique, making the lawn unplannable after you pass the tile. This to me is the sign they do plan to do something more unique, but only time will tell. This may seem like I despise PvZ3. It doesn't exactly look good now, does it? Frankly, I've considered this fine because I've seen the PvZ formula done way worse. And that's important to note here. I've played a lot of mods in my time, and a lot do significantly worse than PvZ3 does. And this is nowhere near the point I've seen things fall. Yes, it is terrible compared to PvZ1, and to a lot of people, PvZ2. But that doesn't make this a terrible game, because it's actually a fairly average, modern, hyper-casual mobile game, which sucks. A lot. PvZ3 isn't trying to reignite the PvZ franchise with all fans. It's trying to get some final new fans that can carry it just over making a profit. PvZ3 is designed for mass appeal, with a franchise that never worked well with mobile game design and never will. So a lot of this change makes sense, really. For years now, PvZ2 has struggled with monetization. Originally the plan was for premium plans to be unique. Hell, Pepperpult was originally drawn to be one, but that clearly changed by addressing March, with both Cold Snapdragon and Gripshot being flatter upgrades of Snapdragon and Cherry Bomb, for instance. Later on, premium plans had to go into the raw power angle, Node Wasabi for instance, and then that went into leveling as an option, and totally changed the core gameplay loop with Arena, and Penny's proceeded to account for it, after trying, and seemingly failing, to make expansions a real thing. So PvZ3 taking a different route entirely makes total sense. To an extent, you could argue PvZ2, despite its popularity, isn't remarkably profitable, or at least profitable in comparison to its massive popularity. If you're designed to, like in the form of lives, buying power and so forth, it's going to be way more profitable in comparison to its viewer base and install base. It makes total sense, and frankly, PvZ franchise is in a bad state. Battle for Neighborville completely crashed, remember, so it makes total sense. The main sense doesn't change what's there, it's fine. It's not good, it's not bad, it's bad, but it's mostly just fine. The future could turn really bad, by falling apart its set and failing to produce anything truly unique, or it could use mechanics it has to make more interesting levels. Remember, the most interesting level is the second to last level. It is entirely possible that future levels will follow in the paths of 49. And hopefully they can also patch up the roster of plants and zombies to be more unique. But for the time being, I'm not remaining hopeful, and I do think it will remain in mediocrity. But hey, who knows? Maybe it can turn around. Let's hope, shall we? This has been Creeps, and have a good one. Good lord, this video took ages to get out. It'll be honest, this video was like, just stupidly hard to do. Not because the video itself was anything particularly difficult, but I just could not get it done in my head. But it's fine now, thank god. Next up I'll probably be returning to Khalees. I did a poll recently, and turns out what I'm going to be doing will be basically a super high focus slip video in one level, because I think that's funny. Anyways. I cannot underestimate how long this video took. Like, when I was decrypting this video, PvZ3 was still, like, available. That's how long it's been. But, yeah. It's been nice. I should really get going. Let me get this video up, but Jesus Christ. Anyways, see you next time, bye.